It's time for another action figure review here on the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel. I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be telling you all about my brand new G.I. Joe Classified Beachhead figure. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get Mr. Sneeden open so I can have some playtime. Quick look at the box then. So standard G.I. Joe Classified Series box with the window at the front. Awesome artwork. They really do put a great deal of effort into these really eye-catching little vignettes on the front of the boxes. And they also put these great character profiles on the sides as well. Got his data card thing that you can cross-reference against the website. Cobra Island. Yeah, I'm going to be Target exclusive. Really hard to find. Let's get to the good stuff inside. Out you come, Wayne. Ooh. Paperwork. First things first, straight away, the thing that kind of immediately catches your eye upon opening the packet, well, before even opening the packet through the window, and many have talked about this, is his weird green Nerf-looking guns. The classic classified snub pistol. He's got his little knife. Oh, that's a bit warped in the packaging, that over the kettle. And the classic Beachhead crossbow, which I believe is the same, but in green. Same mould that is used with Scarlet. And we've got his backpack, really cool. His beret. And then, of course, that sound, man. Beachhead himself. Ooh, that looks like a really great figure. Okay, I'm going to go and pose him up and play around for a bit and mess about with him for a few days and come back and let you know some thoughts.
We're the Beret Bros, and we think you should like this video and subscribe to this channel. Do not deny the power of our berets.
Right, okay then, here we are. Here's Beachhead, all unpacked, and has been, well, it's a few days later now, so he's been posed up, he's been played with. I've rearranged my shelves and taking a look at how he sits with the other G.I. Joe Classified figures in terms of shelf presence and stuff, and now I'm ready to do the video review section. I like to get familiar with them before I start sharing some thoughts, and frankly, these G.I. Joe Classified video reviews are probably starting to get a little bit boring and repetitive, but for good reason, because once again, I mean, look at him, once again, Hasbro have managed to strike that wonderful balance between the nostalgic needs of 80s man-children like me, who want the look and feel of the classic character image from the cartoons and the comic books and the original toys that we played with as children, but with that more contemporary sort of design element for the modern eye, you know, and Beachhead, again, is just yet another fantastic example of that. And, well, I suppose there's a reason why I'm falling in love with the line so much and why I think it's so tremendous. So, while it is a bit boring and repetitive to probably be saying the same things, it's for good reason. But, I mean, look at this guy. Looks tremendous. So, yeah, Beachhead, let's now dive into a little bit more of a fine detail review. And I'll share some of my thoughts about some of the various aspects of the figure. Okay, well, I've already kind of gone there in that little intro first impressions sections, and this normally is the first bit I go into on the video, so I might as well go there now. Let's talk about the aesthetic of the figure. And lots to love about Beachhead. A couple of notes, though. First thing, let's talk about just sort of the colour scheme on the figure. Now, what I've noticed is that on the shelf, in terms of shelf presence, when put amongst the rest of the G.I. Joe Classified range, or certainly the number of figures that I have in my collection from the range, the military greens and the browns and the blacks all start to blend a bit, and the figures that have a splash of colour start to stand out a bit more and are a bit more eye-catching. So your Beachhead winning amongst Zartans and Major Bloods and Flints, for example, all looking very kind of brown and black and green, start to blend a bit, and your Cobra Vipers and your Cobra Commanders and your Red Ninjas are the ones that sort of jump off the shelf a little bit more and catch the eye. However, that said, you know, he is a military figure. He's a combat dude. Of course he's going to be wearing his military greens and his browns and camo colours. So I can excuse that, and I think that's just a question of placement, that I'm not maybe organising my display shelf in a way that's making the best of the figures there, and that's something that I'll look at. However, very appropriate set of colours, very reminiscent of the character as he appeared in the cartoon, in the comic books, the original figure, etc, etc. Now, of course, one thing that does stand out about Beachhead is his balaclava. That gives him a little bit of extra character and personality, even though he's lacking his face, which I think is interesting. I really feel like his eyes and his eyebrows and the way he's looking just communicate so much just through that little cutaway in the balaclava. It's quite curious how much character is being communicated just by that small aspect of facial features that we're seeing, but it's certainly something that stands out about the figure. Also, just the level of detail and the texture that's just adding more depth to the figure, so we can see the texture in the balaclava and in his jumper. We can see, if I bring him a bit closer, I don't know if you can see there, my hands are obscuring my light a little bit, but the texture in the trousers, if I turn him around, the back is a great example of this. You can see these kind of padded aspects to his combat vest and the texture there in the section that just runs by his lumbar, and the stitching in his trousers and the pockets and stuff just really stands out. And you look at the detail on the straps. If I hold him up a bit there, can you see the detail on the straps on his knife sheath and on this padded thigh protector and on his gun holster and stuff? Just really stands out. I mean, that back there is largely obscured by the backpack, which I'll show you in a minute, in his accessories, and yet they've still maintained that level of detail. So all these textures just add some depth and add some character to the figure that, again, just really make it stand out. The eyes, I've got the blue eye figure, but I believe there's some variation there. You can get brown-eyed ones, and the kind of blonde browny eyebrows in there. Nice bit of detail, again, adding depth, adding texture, adding personality to the figure. And then all your kind of black trimmings, all your pouches, your straps, your belts, so on and so forth. Your little G.I. Joe communication device on the shoulder there. Oh, my autofocus. Move my hand. Stop messing with the autofocus. So, yeah, just in terms of look, is a very striking figure, even despite my reservations around how kind of flat and dry the colour scheme is within the range. So I just brought him in a bit closer to really hammer home how impressed I am with the level of detail and the textures there. So you can see, like if I bring his head forward like this, you can see where the way the stitching, the balaclava stitching, is all gathered at the top of his head, and you can see the seam lines in the jumper. And if I bring him really close, you can just sort of see the level of detail on the pouches and the straps and the buckles that are all in there and such like. Just really, really outstanding. And of course, that hard-nosed boot camp instructor stare that he's giving, just awesome, and definitely really blowing me away. I'm just loving the face stuff they've got going on in G.I. Joe Classified, for lack of a better way of putting it. Okay, well, now let's talk a little bit about articulation and posability. And once again, sound like a broken record, this is going to be a repetitive segment on the video, because he maintains the standard that we've come to expect and get from the G.I. Joe Classified range, which is really, really mind-blowingly good. Looking at the arms, you'll see you've got a full 360 and that lovely little kind of shoulder hustly shuffly maneuver there. We've also got up to about a right angle here. In fact, no, that's as high as it will go. We've got the swivel at the top here. We've got the swivel on the wrist there, and the double elbow coming in. The hand is a trigger figure hand, and as with all G.I. Joe Classified, you can see that the right hand has the joint in there for coming back and forward, but the left hand does not. Moving to the main body, Beachhead suffers from the same limitations that we've seen with a number of the G.I. Joe Classified range. While he's got hip swivel around the waist there, your crunch on the inside is wholly restricted by the combat vest here that he's wearing across his torso. So if you want to get him into any kind of slumped slouch positions of any description, you're not going to be able to do so. So yeah, just the main kind of swivel there. We have got lots of articulation in the head, though. Great left and right. And then loads of up and down. And with a bit of movement on the neck as well, introducing lots and lots of options. You can, if you go all the way up, though, see the joint in here, which may put some people off if you're taking photographs. But yeah, loads of opportunity with the head, absolutely. Although, just as a little side tangent, I've noticed like a little smudge. I've got a little smoosh on his mask there, which is a bit disappointing. But hey-ho. Leg articulation is pretty standard for the G.I. Joe classified range. You've got your little drop-down joint there in the groin hip area, which gives you lots of mobility in and out of that space for, I don't know, getting him nice and spread-eagled, giving kicks and things, you know, so on and so forth. Oh, there we go, put that back there like that. We've got the top of the thigh swivel here. One nice aspect I noticed here is that these thigh straps, because he's got 3 on the gun holster and 2 on this little bit of armor padding, unlike other figures such as Flint or the Cobra Viper, when you're trying to pose him, they don't move around quite as much and get in the way, so that's nice because they're not interfering with your thigh swivel on the legs there. We've got nice double knee, bit stiff out the... There we go. Nice double knee. You've got swivel there at the top of the boot, and then, like most G.I. Joes, all that range of motion in the feet. And again, these pads, these padded bits on the front shins, don't seem to be getting in the way of the figure's articulation at all. And as is often the case with the G.I. Joe classified figures, they are great independent standers. Talking accessories for this figure, there's quite a little haul actually, quite a little bundle. He's got a fair bit of close combat and small arms kind of stuff going on. So we've got the little combat knife here, which is alright, I suppose, little combat knife, and that has a lovely little sheath storage in the calf there. We then have his little snub pistol, same design as many of the other G.I. Joe classified figures, and that fits nice and snugly in his holster on the thigh. See, no looseness there, no falling out. And then we have the classic Beachhead handheld crossbow. Now, I'm not going to dwell on it a lot. I know it's been talked about long before I came along and started reviewing G.I. Joe classified figures, but the weird choice to mould these in the green, I cannot comprehend at all. But, you know, there you go. That is what it is. As is often the case with G.I. Joe classified, we've got some stuff going on above the shoulders as well in terms of accessories. Beachhead comes with this very fetching red beret. Fits nice and neatly over the top of his balaclava there, if I flip him upside down. Nice and firm. And is a welcome addition because that red beret there gives him the splash of colour that, going back to my earlier comments, I felt the character was lacking a bit on the shelf. And here is Beachhead now ably demonstrating his main weapon, his rifle or laser gun, his blaster, I don't know what you describe it as. It's clearly in the weird green moulding, plastic moulding again, which I'm not a fan of, and I know many other G.I. Joe classified collectors are not fans of either. So if there's one main criticism of the figure, it's that the weapons, he's very much let down by the accessories, the weapons being in this weird green mould. Not just this one, but the knife and the pistol too, but particularly this one because it's more on view, yeah, as he's holding it. No issue getting it in, out of grip, easy to get the trigger finger around the trigger, etc, etc. I just don't really know what it is. I mean, look at the end of the barrel there. What does that shoot? Play-Doh? I don't know. Last in the accessories, we have the backpack here. As you can see, it's got like a, I don't know what that is, like a little bullet-propelled rocket maybe or something. Certainly got his spare arrows and for his crossbow and his flashlight and lots of storage, but that's there. That fits in with the usual peg system to the back there. You have to press that one in quite tight, and I've found it to be a bit loose. It's fallen out once or twice, so that's something of note. And then you may notice this little kind of groove in here, which I believe is for the placement of the crossbow, which I've been slotting in like that. I don't know if that's... Oh, move my hand to get the autofocus in. There we go. which I've been slotting in like that. I don't know if that's the intended method or not, but that's how I kind of found the best fit for it to stay put. So the backpack is a nice addition. Got that extra little bit of storage for the crossbow, and yeah, just it's a bit more character. Army dudes, when they're on manoeuvres, have backpacks with things in. And here we are. Here's a fully kitted Beachhead with beret, weapons, and backpack all in situ. So a very nice looking figure. Just a shame, really, that they had to let it down with this weird green moulded weapons. And I can definitely see myself swapping those guns out for whatever odds and sods I've got hanging around. Seriously, folks, in my humble opinion, I think Beachhead is possibly the most rock-solid 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 G.I. Joe classified figure to date. And that is saying a lot, because if you've seen any of my other reviews on the channel, you know I'm head over heels in love with this line. He just has blown me away. I've had loads of fun. I've been posing them up, taking photographs, lining them up on my shelves in all sorts of weird and wonderful scenarios. And it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute joy. There are small irritations. I'd be lying, I mentioned them during the review. There are small irritations, but with the G.I. Joe classified range, because the quality and standard is just leaps and bounds above some of the other action figure ranges that I've dipped my toe in with, the small irritations are just that, small irritations. You can overlook them, you can, ignore them, because the benefits, the positives, vastly outweigh any negatives at all. The articulation, the quality of the sculpting, the faces and the eyes. I'm at danger of repeating myself. The textures in the clothing, the attention to detail on the body armor, all that stuff kind of makes me go, all right, his green guns are a bit daft and I'm not into it. Not into it at all. But whatever. I find it, they become just that, small irritations that you can easily kind of look past because everything else comes together so well. And with other lines, I find that the small irritations sort of blossom into something much larger and become much more irritating about the figure, because the overall experience, the play experience, the posing experience, the photography experience is affected by those minor irritations. And I'm not finding that with G.I. Joe Classified. So it's a big, massive, double thumbs up, platinum shiny star. Chris recommends for both Beachhead and the range as a whole. What more can I say? It's a tremendous figure. If you're thinking about buying one and you happen across one in one of your discount stores over there in North America, then definitely pick one up. He's great. He's outstanding. So there you go. If you've enjoyed my review today, folks, please do make an effort to give me a thumbs up and a like down below. It takes you just a second, but it means ever so much for me and lets me know I'm on the right track. And if you're a fan of G.I. Joe Classified, I don't see me stopping picking up these and reviewing them anytime soon, so please consider subscribing to the channel. But in the meantime, I've been Chris at MoDXtra Games and Collectibles, and I'll see you in my next video. Take it easy, folks. Thanks for watching.